Good, how are you?
Awesome.
Don't look so nervous. It's fine. This is for me, not for you. Alright, so I saw you today, in case you didn't remember that. And then I wanted to tell you some things that I thought went really well, and then I want you to tell me at least 3 things that went really well. Okay? So what I noticed is that you have, actually, why don't you go first? What are the 3 things that went well?
For coming back from lunch, I think we were settled in probably within 3 or 4 minutes working on the worksheet.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good on any day. Everybody had their packet from before lunch, so everybody was prepared. And I had extras for, I think Enrique lost his.
Sounds about right.
Within 40 minutes.
And
another thing that went well. You didn't talk about more than just the first 4 or 5 minutes, right? You're talking about like the whole.
the first like 15 minutes.
Oh, well, another thing that went well was before the bell rung. For some reason, a lot of kids went in line today, so I let a couple in and they were kind of prepared. So I don't know why. That normally doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
But today it happened enough where some kids got a little bit extra time to work on to pull out their stuff. Like Javier was in there early and he used to wander around and get lost, but at least it was almost ready by the time we were settled down. So.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, that was.
I noticed that you have great body placement. I like how you stand in the doorway so you can see outside and inside. Everyone knows and for the most part follows your backpack rule in the back. I remember at the beginning of the year it was a huge fight, and now it's just like maybe one that needs to be reminded. Like Mitzi, you have to remind her, but Mitzi is Mitzi. So, I like that. I've always liked that you use a timer to pace yourself with work, and then your circulation is quick and efficient. Like you seem to know what you're looking for when you're walking around during those times. And then I also saw that you had a calm transition to class, like 99.9% of the kids were focused. Like Mitzi was turned sideways, but she was quiet and doing what she was supposed to be doing, for the most part. And I like that you had a student remind the vocab. Like you told the kids, you're gonna have 1 minute to write if this is linear, non-linear, or I forget your third option. And then you're like, so-and-so, what does linear mean? And the kid said, a straight line. You said, a straight line. And he was like, yeah. And so you gave everyone another chance to remember before lunch, because SOAR and lunch, that's a huge break.
Yeah, that's a weird transition.
Yeah, and then I like that your classroom expectations are clear, even if they're not always followed. I do feel like it's clear, like kids know that they shouldn't be sharpening their pencils. They do it anyways, but they know they shouldn't be, and I know that they know that beyond being in your classroom all year, but like the face that they look when you say, like, what do you, stop sharpening your pencils, like, oh. Like I've been caught. Like you can sneakily sharpen a pencil, right? So I want to show you a little blip of yourself, which I know is always super awkward to watch.
Yeah.
So, and my movie taking skills were very poor. So I apologize for that as well. I don't know what happened.
And my voice has been cracking a lot lately. I need some tea or something. Like worse than normal.
Really? Are the kids noticing?
Yeah. I think somebody said asked me if I was getting sick.
Oh, well that was nice of them. They're not laughing at you anymore. So I was just filming people getting into your class. So your body placement is perfect. You're monitoring both in and out, which is key. Yeah, and then Gabe is speaking. And then Gabe was trying to beat me. And then I realized, oh, I haven't been recording this whole time and had to start over. So that was the bell. See, most of these kids, they have no backpacks on. You got your stragglers in. I like that you're still holding them accountable. Or at least you kicked them out before they got inside. And they all knew to put their backpacks down. They all knew to grab their packet. What are you noticing?
Good or bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taking us a while to settle down, and I got a lot going on outside. I didn't like that today. So it's like I gotta either stay at the door or close it, and then late pass, and then just get started. And it's taking me a while to take attendance. I mean, I know the bell rung with probably a minute or two ago. Well, now I'm taking attendance. And there's just too much. I just want to cut down on the. And I know that's hard because obviously it's 30 people, but too much going on. While you're trying to take attendance.
Right.
And I'm calling Mitzi's name out a lot, so maybe I should give her. I've been trying to give her papers to pass out and
a job.
Yeah, that makes it easier when it's not just one student like delivering the class. And she did come in late, so she has time to. She has the right time to get a pick up. You know, she can just drop her backpack.
Right.
Oh
yeah, then there's something.
Well, that was the second bell, though.
Yeah. So I think you actually started attendance at an appropriate time. Especially if you're sending kids for a late pass. Because that way you don't forget when they come in with a late pass. And then there's Gabe trying to feed me. And so I would say it's right around, you can't see the minute. Your better calling you? No. Okay. So you mentioned being stricter at the door, so you're staying in the door or shutting the door. Being faster at taking attendance and cutting down on the movement of class. What do you think you could do, or something that could be done to accomplish all of those things at one time that you can think of?
Well, you could always be, I know I said that was a positive like that, Javier and some of them come in early, but I could always, 2 straight lines. And when the second bell rings, which is the official time, 2 lines in immediately, shut the door after those 2 lines are in, take attendance immediately, and then go. And while I'm taking attendance, I know 4th period, you talk to me about the do now, I don't do it. Whereas maybe I should have, we know I should probably have 2 do nows for them. But while, traditionally, I do now, I'm taking attendance, backpacks in the back.
Yeah.
So even though that's kind of a positive thing to let them in sometimes, it's like, oh, we got stragglers and we gotta wait for this and that.
Yeah.
We can probably just do a clean transition, which is what we normally do.
Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah. We get into the year.
We all have our pros and cons. Yeah. So the thing you actually touched on, what I wanted to mention was the do now. Because I did hear you like get out of the packet, and that can count as a do now, like a beginning action, like giving them something to do besides wander around your classroom. Do nows usually take longer than taking out a packet. That's why it's it's better if you're going to let stragglers in. So if you're gonna let like Javier come in and hang out, if he has a do now, that's gonna take him a lot longer than just getting out a packet and sitting down. So he will be more like working as your class fills up. Because I don't necessarily think it's bad to let kids in early. It can lead to more movement and a little bit more chaos if they don't have anything to do, because then they're just socializing in your room. But if they have something to do, then it's fine. Like I saw that Edward and Nathaniel, they were seated, they were ready to go, but they had nothing to do. So they were talking to people, but they were being respectful. Like beginning of the year, and he used to just wah! And now like you have grown so much. Like you have made so much progress. So I wanted to show you this video. I think you've already seen it. We all have.
Well, not today, but.
No, today was like beautiful. So you've seen this one, but I want you to see how this guy starts his class.
Walk in the classroom quickly and quietly. I will hand you your do now. Instructions are on the board. Are there any questions before we get started?
I do want to preface this with giving your instructions outside doesn't always work. Because he's inside, hallway, there's no birds, there's no water fountain. And it looked like there was no other classes and hear him.
Oh, wow.
Like, if you start giving instructions, Mr. Zick and Miss Diaz, all at the same time, no one's gonna hear anything. But this is, so the rest of this is what I wanted
Activity
you
that you have
to look at.
at the very beginning of class that helps you to set the tone for that day. Quickly, quietly, get started right away. Go ahead and get started right away on your do now. Welcome. Kids come in and have something to do when they get to their desk. Okay, I got the back row working, and that something to do should go back to what they worked on before and lead into what they're going to work on next.
To review,
Often it's really good to put the instructions for the do now up on the board, so you don't even have to say that much. They can just read them and start following the directions, and then instead of having to talk to a lot of kids, you just say, I really like the way you got started. Now go ahead and work on number 2, and then read it, and then you can move on.
Yeah, do it on the back. That's cool. You know what to do, right?
I've seen teachers that do nows and have quick quizzes at the beginning of every day. I've seen teachers that do a few old questions that they want to work on. You know, it could be a reading passage that the kids have been working on. Ideally, something that's going to lead you directly into that day's lesson. I see sharp
That's
today,
exactly
sharp
what
today,
negatives
on
today.
the average different numbers.
Mhm.
The other great thing
Was
about
that during third period?
now
Yeah,
is
first,
it's really
Mhm.
excellent
What are we
technique
talking
for
about?
classroom management.
The fourth
See,
period.
the middle row is completely engaged in what they're working on. It helps you to set the
Yeah.
expectations from the very
So how
beginning
does
of your
he
class.
set up his do now so that it's more successful?
Writing the instructions on the board. Very clear. 1, 2.
Ding, ding, ding. You are just hitting everything on the head. I have a little doctor.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
yes.
so it sounds like, so you've mentioned the do now, and then we talked about how the do now doesn't always have to be like a worksheet. It is suggested that it is, but as you, like, maybe you do just want to jump right into the packet, because that worked today. That worked, like, here's the packet, Edward read, so-and-so, what does this mean, what did we talk about, we're moving, and that was good, I like that. So it can just be, especially for fourth period, which can be a little trickier, it can't just be like, get out, packet, but if you have it written on the board, then there's like sharpen pencils and get out your paper. Like, if that was the few things,
To do,
you know?
knock out that awkward little phase right there.
right, yeah,
for sure.
and then at least they know what they're doing and you're not constantly repeating, so you can focus on, Sammy, go to class, Alma, sit down, like, thank you, Edward, for being seated, Javier, what are you doing? Whatever it is, so your words are more pointed at actions and versus repeating what your instructions are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
Yeah, think of that. I think I gotta get, and the kid said that to me today, because I had on the board, and Nicole asked me to do it. She said, well, Ms. Diaz writes what we need to take out. So I've been doing that, but they're not used to me doing that.
Right.
So, like, for the Bears, today, everybody gets your notebook out, even though I wrote that on the board, it's not like, they're not always looking there. So it has to be like a consistent thing of like writing on the board and doing it. And I also like to just go crazy on the board.
Right.
Like my math problem,
Yeah.
so probably have to write it on both sides of the, you know, where the tape is on one side. So
Yeah.
it's like every time, like, do now, take this out, do this, and then they're actually looking like constantly.
Right.
So-
Yeah, and it might take like, okay guys, I've noticed that you guys don't always know what I'm asking of you and when you guys walk into class. So I've started filling this out and this will show you what you need to take out. And like just explaining it to them.
I did that to the Bears today,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I got a lot of feedback.
Oh, okay.
While I was saying it,
What
like,
did they
well,
say?
you never ready to the board.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But
But
then
I'm
you-
telling you, but
yeah.
I was trying to explain to them, like,
Right.
I understand, I'm
Yeah,
from
I'm
now
not mad at
on,
you.
somebody asked me to write it on the board, so
Mhm.
it's okay today that we're taking 2 minutes. But
Mhm.
tomorrow, let's try to, if I write it on the board, not take those 2 minutes.
Yeah.
To get your notebook out.
Right.
So,
Right, exactly. And if it's the same spot, then it's if you have to do it every day. So like a sharpened pencil, it's probably just gonna stay up there the whole time. Like, and then everything else can, or you could do it on your PowerPoint if that's easier. Cause I mean, that at least looks different than handwriting on the board. And then you don't have to worry about erasing it on accident or whatever. Or do it handwriting since you're old school like that.
I've done PowerPoint sometime, but then I gotta take a 10 minutes and then
Right.
that's when I.
Yeah, and then you don't have, you could put it on the dot cam and freeze it, and so it'll project, but
You can freeze the computer, like the
you can freeze the
slide.
dot cam. You know your little,
Yeah, I'm not gonna freeze that.
Yeah.
They're gonna freeze a slide, you know?
You
maybe.
can, but you need the remote. I don't know how to do it on just the projector itself. I know how to do it on a remote. There's a button that says freeze, and you can do that. So if you have the remote, then yes.
I got it.
Okay, then yeah, you just hit freeze and it'll keep it up there. You can do whatever you want on your screen. And then when you unfreeze it, then it'll go to whatever is on your computer screen. Or once everyone's there, you just shut your projector and move on with your day. You know? I don't know what's easier for you.
I'm gonna try it.
Like writing, you can always like just say, hey guys, I'm figuring out what works for me so I can be consistent for you. Like handwriting isn't working for me. If you've seen my objective, it stays there for a while. Like my date is a month off. Like what are you guys doing? I'm gonna try it on the computer and see what works. And maybe, yeah, maybe it's someone who comes in and wants to hang out with you early in the morning, and you're just like, this is what you're right. Like you give it as a job. That's a great job for a child to have if they have good penmanship. Yeah. So why do you think this is beneficial, or do you think this would be beneficial?
No, I think it would be beneficial for the reason that we talked about today is I wasted 2 minutes, 6 minutes, 2 minutes each class getting our notebooks out and not having like the absolute clear expectations of what to do when we come in. Or just reminders, and kids, whether it's me, I'm going to say it out loud anyway, just the reminders that sharpening your pencil or doing this just makes it easier for them, for visual learners, two kinds of things. It just seems like it would work better.
Yeah.
The more that you give to them.
And then if you did want to work on so I would focus this for now, and then if you did want to work on the line thing, you could go big and have them get out everything they need before they enter your classroom. I used to have my 5th graders do that, and it can take a little bit to get them there. And since, I mean, it is April, so it's up to you if you want to go there or just maybe save that for next year or whatever, and like practice your do now like urgency. Because I've noticed when you speed up and the kids speed up, your class, like your behavior issues go down for the most part. There's less side chatter, and there's like you don't get as frustrated as much as everything is going faster, so kids feel like they have to speed up. So this is like your first you turned the ignition key on and you were pressing that gas pedal. You know? And
it's definitely difficult, I'm not gonna lie to you, to keep that what I call a hurry up offense going. And sometimes you just get so overwhelmed. You know,
yeah, or you get stuck in they won't shut up.
Or you ask somebody a question and you're trying to push them through it, trying to do the right thing and like calling them. A lot of things.
Yeah, and I did like how you said, so-and-so answer this question, I haven't heard from you all day. Like I like that because it's showing, I think it's showing kids and anyone that's observing that you're paying attention to that, but you're also paying attention to them. You're like, oh yeah, I haven't talked all day and he noticed. And you know, like that's showing that you care while still getting the job done.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be able to do this? When do you think you'll be able to start writing your do now / take out stuff?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to PowerPoint probably. See if I can get that frozen.
So you usually do a paper do now, 1st period, 3rd period, and 5th period, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's another thing, because we've talked about this before, we do now for 4 period. And like it's a lot to do 2 do nows. And it's not a lot, but whatever. I haven't done it yet. But I was thinking if I had like today, they could have got the packet out, but then circle the last problem they were on, or work on part A on the problem.
Or annotate
if
the
I
question.
remember it, you know, that kind of thing. Like something added to it for 4 period, because it is a weird situation, you know. And you know, it's been. It's okay. Some days is.
Or maybe the do now you do for like 1st and 5th. Take that, literally cut it in half, like half sheet it, and then 3rd period they get half the sheet, 4th period they get the second half of the sheet. So it's to say you're not creating anything new. All you're doing is going to that paper cutter, ching ching, and giving it to them. Yeah.
That would work too.
Because then that's not anything new. I mean, I used to do nows that were worksheets. It was a single problem they had to do every day, or they would grade. Or their do now would be writing their own multiplication chart. Like, I kind of varied it up, but it became a routine. Like, you need your packet these days, you need your homework these days, so you need this day.
Make it easier. Yeah, I usually get 1 piece of paper.
But you figure out what works. So I was having to do a problem every day and grade their homework, and I was like, this isn't working. Like, so we're going to grade these days.
Yeah, the one problem a day is like, Cause then they gotta get a notebook, paper and like this is.
Right,
If
yeah.
I give them a paper.
I gave them do now packet.
Then this, and names on the paper you should
Right.
work on.
Yeah.
This paper.
Yeah, maybe it's, you give them a paper of 6 and you just write on board, pick 3 and do them. And they can do any 3 they want. You know? It's up to you, whatever you want your do not to be. I think as long as they have clear instructions when they walk through the door, that's what's gonna help you. Because even with the stragglers, or even with like the filtering of kids, which I think worked for you today, like if they know what to do, there's gonna be less of that movement that you mentioned. Yeah. Cool.
And it works sometimes, like Alva passes out papers in fifth grade, like just makes things with John or stuff like that.
Yeah,
That helps.
I like all your faster counters. It makes me happy. Do you have any other concerns or questions, needs?
Cool.
Alright.
Are you trying to go?
Sweet, yeah, let's go.
You after you left, now you have the Mitzi stuff.
Good.
Bro, and I don't know what to do. I'm nervous.